Google's announced that uh, today that they're releasing, I think it was today, on the 18th of November, that they're going to push out the November 2021 core update. For those of you who don't know, probably Kelsey's in that list as well.
Yeah.
A core update essentially is just Google doing a big update to how they look at search results and how they rank websites. It happens, a handful of times a year, so it's not a weird thing for it to happen, but it's more of a heads up for anyone who's looking at SEO, who's got a website. Just keep an eye out. These core updates are big enough that in our ranking tools, they demarcate when a core update has been rolled out, because it can have all sorts of impacts. Generally, what we see is people's rankings drop, but that does mean that when people's rankings drop, there has to be people who win as well, because that's sort of how it works. But yeah, the November updates comes after the last one in July, and then there was one in June before that. So those have been sort of this is the third update for the year. It is a bit of weird timing because it's just before the holidays, and it'll probably happen over, probably be complete across all the geographies by sort of early December. But that's going to also mean that it's happening over like a key selling period around Black Friday and the lead up to Christmas, which that's a bit of volatility, right? Like if you've got an established channel, a marketing channel through Google, that's going to be a little affected potentially.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit of a rationale from some marketing teams to the senior execs to explain why there's some weird stats in there.
Yeah, and you can never predict how one of these core updates will go. So I think it'll be interesting to see that as well, whether it's, good overall or bad overall. We've seen historically like these core updates affect a certain market segment or have more of a weighting on, let's say, health related content. So you might find that when a core update rolled and you have a health based site and you're not a doctor, like a medical doctor, that you may have taken a hit and suddenly find that websites by clinics are doing better. So that's where Google's obviously weighing up, or at least boosting the dominance and the authority around content from like a medical organization or a medical individual, medically qualified individual. And the same thing can happen across a huge number of industries as well. But it's a heads up. Keep an eye out over the next fortnight. I'm sure we're gonna be seeing some interesting results as well. Just the other day, actually, one of our clients dropped from third place to eighth place in search results, and I clicked in to see why, and I've worked out that we hadn't lost search rankings to anyone else's rankings, but what had happened was that Google had started displaying different types of information in between. So we got demoted from third to eighth, but all the content in the middle were questions asked by other searchers. Was a blurb on about the company. So this was a term for a product, and Google had slotted in, about future theory, let's say, as one of the search results. So ultimately we'd lost all those places, but in reality, we hadn't lost it per se. Google
Just
had
other things jumped in. Yeah.
Exactly. But that's a reminder there that, all Google has to do, I think, is on certain results is to decide that they only want to show like one main result before they pull in the Google-based information. It could be latest news around that topic. It could be, movie times, or it could be all sorts of things that could then push your search ranking further down, which puts a lot of importance on being number one on that particular search term. But it also varies from search term to search term.